Welcome to Whiskey Gaming, and this is my light review of Skull and Bones. I played on the Xbox Series X. It's also available on the Series S, the PS5, and PC. So Skull and Bones is the pirate saga that we were all basically hoping for after Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Yeah, it's been a minute. Let's get into the story. You play as a pirate, and you don't really have a name, and you basically just run around doing missions for other, more important pirates. And your missions involve doing piratey things like trade and, looting other ships. You do that. But it's all about pirate politics and back and forth, and it's shit. I honestly barely remember any of the characters' names, let alone what I was doing or why I was doing it. They really don't provide you with much motivation or the characters that you're working for. Their motivation is either stay in power or earn money, which I guess is very piratey, but you're not doing it for you, you're doing it for them. And like I said, it's forgettable. It's utterly forgettable. 9 times out of 10, I forgot what the fuck I was supposed to be doing right after leaving the cutscene because it was all just so generic. And again, it wasn't about you. You were just kind of this nameless creature involved, essentially. But let's move on to the audio, and the voice acting is very hit or miss. There are some who do a decent job, and there are plenty who do a shit job. As for the music, there is not nearly enough of it. When it is there, it's good enough, but it's not amazing. I do enjoy the sea shanties, but they don't kick it off on their own frequently enough, so there could be long stretches of time where there's just nothing and you gotta tell them to start singing, and it's kind of stupid that way. I did like that they weren't all the same sea shanties from Black Flag, and the ones that were from Black Flag had different lyrics. And then as for the sound effects, I think the sound effects are good. I couldn't really think of ones that are missing or anything like that. I didn't notice any big blank spots. I thought like the cannon fire, the ship noises, etc. I thought that was all very well done. Let's get into the gameplay mechanics and whatnot. And this is very much a mission-based game as well as an online multiplayer game. And the online part, like any good online game, is quite annoying because, if the servers drop you for no fucking reason in the middle of a mission, well, guess what? There's a whole lot of resource gathering. If you want to upgrade your ship, you want to upgrade your cannons, your armor, any of that, there's a lot of resource gathering to be done. And while your ship has a level, and that does matter, I definitely feel like they fuck you on more than a few missions. I had basically done all the main missions in an area, and I had to go on to another area, but there's a bunch of level 10 privateers which hunt you, and are already tough as shit, but a bunch of ones that are level 10 when I'm a level 5 in between me and that location. It was bullshit. As for the missions, I feel like they worked well enough, but as stated, the main missions, the motivation behind them didn't do much. Everything basically boils down to get into your ship, go do this thing, whether that's sink an enemy or loot an enemy or deliver something. That's kind of what it boils down to. As for the resources I mentioned earlier, there's a whole bunch of ways of doing that, but they basically boil down to you buy it, you steal it, or you harvest it. Stuff you harvest is along the shoreline, whether it's sunken ships or resources themselves. They're all tied to the same basic minigame. Stealing it, you're either attacking ships or ports, and then when it comes to buying it, well, it's buying it. One thing I also felt was unbalanced was the rewards. I just feel like that could have been done better. I felt very handicapped the further I got along in the game. I was like, I clearly need a bigger, better ship, but I'm not getting enough XP to get said bigger, better ship. Because you do need to get XP of a sort. It's really like notoriety, I guess you'd call it, or infamy is what they call it. And I didn't get enough yet, but I was far enough along in the story where I needed a much better ship. So it was kind of shit there. I will say though, the naval combat was actually a lot of fun. The piloting your boat around had enough elements to it that I did enjoy it. And the naval combat does play out very similarly, basically what you would expect if you ever played Black Flag. It's that all over again. You and another ship, you're firing at them, you have your front cannons, side cannons, depending on how you're facing them, that's how you fire at them. I do think Black Flag did one thing better with like telling you how your shots were going to arc, whereas this does not do that. This also has a variety of cannons that you can upgrade to, as well as like mortars and whatnot. You can't just equip your ship with everything, but you can pick and choose. Like for my initial attack, I had long guns, guns on the front and I would hit people with those, and then I'd sweep up beside them with some better mid-range cannons. Not as damaging, but faster to reload. But there's torpedoes, there's ballistas, there's all sorts of other stuff, so you can kind of tweak it how you want it. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually enjoyed that part of the game. But let's get on to the controls. And movement, that works. Camera, that works. Shooting, that works. It's the raising and lowering of your sails, which doesn't work well. It's tapping A to bring your sails up and B to bring them down, and the game just doesn't fucking do it. You tap A once to do it once, and you may go full sails when you didn't intend to, or they won't go up at all. You tap B to slow yourself down, and your guy just fucking ignores it, and you speed right past what you were going to. It doesn't work as well as it should, and that was actually extremely frustrating. Oh, I also want to address that the movement on land, like when you're running around, is really sloppy and you're skatey and you don't stop when you mean to stop, and it's just not good. And then we'll get into the graphics, and it's really a mixed bag. When you're out on the ocean, it's beautiful. The ocean looks great. The sky looks great. Your ship looks really fucking cool. The amount of detail in your ship and customization you can do with your ship, the fact that the different armors will look different, the different cannons, in fact, look different, and all the cosmetic elements attached to it, that's pretty cool. Your character does not look anywhere near as good. I mean, the face itself looks fine, and the clothing looks good, but like your character's hair looks like shit straight from the Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag era. It's like 360 hair, and we're way past that at this point. Also, when we are talking about water, like the way the waves break and the splash looks like dog shit. There's an opening cutscene where a whale jumps out and the splash just looks horrible. Shit like that is very noticeable when your sails look all beautiful and like flap in the wind, and you know, you can see all the detail on the planks of the wood of your ship. It's just such a mixed bag of things looking really good, things looking really bad, and like the people animations, that looks awful. I mean, not super awful, but it's not as good as it should be, considering you do spend a lot more time running around on foot than I was expecting. I think the pirate towns look pretty cool. I think like being out on land, that's well designed, but it's not the focus, and you feel it in the size of the areas. But then you see these towns that would actually be kind of cooler to explore on foot, and you can't go into those. To put it simply, there are some really cool elements. There are some things with some great detail. The gunfire, the damaging of the ships, all of that stuff is awesome. But then that's at the same time offset by some of the things that don't look nearly as good. Also, there were times where textures weren't in. You know that like weird pink purple mapping you see underneath that just shows the shape and the not actual texture? Yeah, you see that more than a few times. So let's just get into the wrap up. To put it simply, while I actually have fun with the gameplay of this game, I was having fun looting, I was having fun upgrading my ship, the missions do fuck all to get you moving, and there's enough other little elements in this that just aren't nearly where they should be considering how long this game has been in development. To put it simply, I don't mind playing this and I do enjoy it. I do regret having to pay full price. This is not a full price title at all. So would I recommend it? Yeah, down the line with some more patching and a price drop of at least 20, I wouldn't have a problem recommending that. Also, if they do maybe a game of the year and like DLC and stuff that really kicks some of the shitty stuff in the ass and makes it better, I could see recommending that. But where it stands right now, I would not recommend it. Wait until a big price drop. Okay, in the comments down below, why don't you tell me what's your favorite pirate game? I'm trying to think of a lot of other pirate games and I just keep coming back to Black Flag, really. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. And if you like what I'm doing in general, share and subscribe. Have a good one.